She was found with a gunshot wound to the head.
When 21-year-old Molly Young was found dead in her ex-boyfriend's apartment, at first, it looked like she took her own life.
My girlfriend just committed suicide.
Her family said that was impossible.
In my bones, I believe that she did not do this to herself.
Police treated it like an open and shut case, but Molly's family said the evidence told a different story.
Forensic facts are her fingerprints weren't on the gun.
With conflicting 911 calls, accusations of a biased investigation, and concerns about a boyfriend's dark side, Molly's family is on a mission to uncover the truth.
I have people every day come to me and say, "We believe your daughter was murdered. Why aren't they doing anything about it?"
Was it murder or was it suicide? What really happened to Molly Young? Molly Young was smart, artistic, and fun-loving.
She had the spirit of a child. For her 21st birthday, most people go out and drink. She threw a hide-and-seek party.
Molly was taking a break from studying photography at Southern Illinois University. She had a boyfriend, Richie Minton, a police dispatcher with the city of Carbondale, Illinois. They dated on and off for 2 years. In March 2012, Molly got pregnant. The couple agreed she should have an abortion, but then they broke up.
She said, I'm done with him. She said, I don't even like him anymore as a person.
Molly told her family that Richie's behavior had become troubling.
She believed he was sociopathic.
The day she found out when she was pregnant, he posted a quote from the son of Sam saying, "Drops of lead will pour down upon her head until she's dead."
According to Molly's family, Richie didn't take the breakup well. A few weeks later, on March 24th, Molly got a call from Richie in the middle of the night. He had been drinking and said he needed her help.
Richie Minton called my daughter at 3 o'clock in the morning and convinced her to come over.
And I made her promise she would never go back to that apartment. She didn't keep her promise.
The next morning, Molly was dead.
911, what's your emergency?
It's my ex-girlfriend.
At first, Richie told the 911 operator that Molly had overdosed.
I woke up and she's covered in blood. She's overdosed. She bled out through the nose.
But then he called a dispatcher he knew on her private work number, saying that Molly had actually shot herself.
5 police.
Hey, Amber, you sent the sergeant. She didn't OD. I just found my gun laying underneath her.
By the time police arrived, Richie had already called his lawyer and his parents. Molly's family didn't even know she was dead yet, and they were furious when they found out her body was left on the floor for over 7 hours while a search warrant was obtained.
How could they sit there and let her lay there dead in the apartment? What kind of people are they?
After an autopsy the next day, the coroner ruled the death a suicide. Molly's family didn't buy it. She had battled depression in the past after a cancer scare and was medicated, but they say that struggle was behind her.
Molly had a surgery a year prior, and she did have some depressing thoughts she wrote in her journal, but the last entry was 9 months before this happened, and her psychologist said she was not suicidal.
And there were too many other things that didn't make sense. The gun belonged to Richie, and Molly's family says she hated guns.
I am sure she would not know how to load a gun.
What's more, tests revealed Molly had been shot from above, on the left side of her head.
If she was right-handed, she would have had to use her left hand.
There were no fingerprints on the gun, or any trace of gunshot residue on her hands. And Molly's family didn't believe that Richie slept through the whole thing. Her body was found just feet from his bed.
You would have to be in a coma to not hear that gunshot.
Richie's roommate, who wasn't at home at the time of the shooting, told police that Richie was distraught.
I was afraid that with the gun still in the house, he would try to kill himself.
But Molly's family says Richie never showed any grief and refused to talk to police after his initial statements.
He needs to speak up, like most innocent people do.
They refused to be interviewed by the Illinois State Police. They never have interviewed him.
Richie's lawyer says there's a good reason for that.
I don't know what more he could add because he was asleep. The coroner believed that it was clearly suicide. All he could be able to say is, I was intoxicated, I passed out, and when I woke up, she had a gunshot wound.
Molly's family insists Richie is hiding something. They had to petition for the case files multiple times before learning that when first responders arrived, Richie was changing clothes and washing his hands.
You should never let somebody change their clothes at a crime scene. You should never allow them to wash up.
The pajama pants he slept in were stained with Molly's blood, and he had fresh scratches on the side of his body. And Molly's family is convinced the local police were protecting Richie. Not only was he a police dispatcher, both of his parents worked in law enforcement.
I think he got special treatment. I think they looked the other way.
Angry, Molly's family launched a crusade for justice, demanding that the coroner re-examine the evidence.
There's a lot of loose ends left in this case, and it's not a complete investigation, and it needs to be completed.
In January 2013, 10 months after Molly's death, they got a break.
Special report uncovering new developments and questions in the Molly Young investigation.
A coroner's inquest ruled that Molly's manner of death was undetermined, not suicide. Despite a new ruling that the manner of Molly's death was undetermined, the Illinois State Police maintained that it was a suicide. Phone records show that minutes before she died, Molly sent a text to Richie's roommate, saying she was going to shoot herself. Molly's family believes that the text was written by someone else.
Text messages aren't fingerprints, they're not handwriting. Anybody can type it in.
But Richie's attorney says Molly is the only person who could have sent it.
Those were her words. No one else put those in her phone.
Investigators also found internet searches on Molly's computer relating to suicide. But her family says at the time those searches were made, Molly wasn't anywhere near her computer. She was at a concert with a friend.
They were out till 2 a.m. But between midnight and 2 a.m., there was 8 suicide searches planted on Molly's computer at home.
They believe Richie could have accessed her computer remotely. And there was something else. Richie's roommate told police that Richie was threatening suicide the week before Molly died.
And he said he was going to kill himself.
One police theory is that Molly's death was part of a suicide pact that Richie didn't follow through with. But Molly's family is convinced her death was a murder, and their plea for further investigation has become emotional for all of them.
My mom, she's in her 80s, and she keeps saying, I hope that Molly gets justice before I die.
Richie's lawyer says the Young family is blindly refusing to accept the facts.
It's clear, I think, what's here. But if you don't want to see it, you can choose not to.
Molly's parents say they won't give up until Richie is charged.
You can't hide your sin, a sin that's caused so much pain to so many people, and lie about it.
Forensic facts don't lie. Crime scenes can be staged, the electronics can be staged, but there's forensic facts that can't lie.
Follow Still a Mystery for new episodes and updates.